The stock market reopens tomorrow morning after President Trump's trade wars helped push all three major indexes into the red last week, with the Dow posting its worst week since 2023. Joining me now is Michigan Democratic Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist, who last week announced he's running for governor. Lieutenant Governor Trump's escalating trade wars with our neighbors could hit Michigan especially hard. Automakers are bracing for the impact on their supply chains, which crisscrosses our northern and southern borders, and are anticipating higher prices for raw materials like steel and aluminum. What do you expect the impact to be in your state?
Reverend Sharpton, these tariffs that are coming from the Trump administration are causing nothing but chaos and calamity. They're setting fire to the balance sheets of these companies, the bank accounts of the workers and families across Michigan, and the bottom lines of our communities. So we certainly are bracing for their impact, but also advocating by telling the stories of the working people whose jobs are going to be destroyed, whose businesses are going to shut down because of this just lack of clarity, but also just the unpredictability. I was speaking with an auto supplier just last week, and he told me that they can't plan for the next quarter because they don't know what's going to happen from this administration next week. Well, part of the reason why I'm running for governor of Michigan is because I'm an engineer. I'm a problem solver. I don't create problems. I solve them. And in order to solve problems, we need stability and competence and leadership in Michigan. And that's what I'm looking to provide as a governor of Michigan, someone who can fix broken systems, to deliver the results that people are clamoring for. Because Donald Trump said he would make things less expensive in Michigan, but instead he's making them more expensive with these tariffs.
I'll get back to your race, but I mentioned earlier the new polling from NBC News, where 47% of Americans approve of the job President Trump is doing 2 months into his second term. However, the poll found that most Americans disapprove of Trump's handling of the economy and inflation so far, the very issues Trump ran on last year. Your thoughts on these findings, are they reflective of what you're hearing from voters in Michigan?
They are reflective of what voters of Michigan are not seeing results. You know, he made a promise that he would make things less expensive, that he would make the economy work. But that's not working for people because his policies do not work. They are failing people. And frankly, if the things he's proposing and then pulling back, these tariffs being on one day and off the next day, they're making it impossible for anybody to plan. The cuts to different federal departments, whether it's the Department of Education, whether it's the cuts to Medicaid that could be coming from his policies, they're making families unstable. So that's why they disapprove of the policies of this president. And frankly, Michigan needs something better from their president.
The Department of Homeland Security said on Friday that a second Columbia University student involved with last year's pro-Palestinian protests over the war in Gaza has been arrested by ICE agents. Meanwhile, another student fled to Canada after having her student visa revoked. Your state of Michigan has the largest Muslim and Arab population in the country. Can you speak to how these stories are being received by these communities there in Michigan?
Well, I was just on the campus of the University of Michigan, which was one of the universities, there are two in Michigan, that were targeted by this administration because of how they are welcoming to students from all diverse backgrounds, and specifically the Arab American and Muslim population. This is a community in Michigan that's very important to our present and our future, and these communities want more from their president. The president came and made a lot of promises to that community that he's already broken during these first few weeks that he's been into office. But these communities are ready to speak up. And they want real leadership and stability, frankly, coming from Michigan. And they want somebody who, again, is not creating problems in the community. He's creating fear in the community. They need a problem solver. They need an engineer as their governor.
Now, while I have you, as I said, I want to ask you about your run for governor. Michigan has never had a black governor, and there have only been 3 black governors in the nation's history. The midterms are still nearly 20 months away, and it may shape up to be a crowded race. So I do intend to hear from more of the other candidates as well. But what prompted you to step into the race so early, and what's your vision for the state?
You know, Reverend Sharpton, I am an engineer, like I said before. I learned to fix systems and build solutions for people. I've spent time in all 83 counties of Michigan at least 3 times. And Reverend, even just last fall, I was with you in Ann Arbor on the campus of University of Michigan and in Detroit, speaking with people what's important to them and what matters to them. And what I've heard are people who want to see answers to the questions they have to deal with their anxieties as well as what they're hopeful for. People want solutions on housing. I've delivered on housing. People want solutions on criminal justice reform. I've delivered on criminal justice reform. People want our economy to be more diversified so that we can have not just an auto industry, but a technology industry. That's the industry I come from, Reverend, and I've delivered on creating things like the Michigan Innovation Fund that are going to create jobs for years to come. I'm running for governor because I want Michigan to be the best place for young people and all people from all walks of life to come, to stay, and to succeed so that they don't have to feel like they can go anywhere outside of Michigan to be their best professionally or personally. And I want people who are excited about that vision to stand tall for Michigan with me and go to garlandgilchrist.com to support this campaign.
Now, you are aware you're probably going to face a very crowded and tough primary. Does that concern you?
We have a great story to tell about the progress that I've made alongside Governor Gretchen Whitmer. I'm really proud that we've laid a foundation in terms of our infrastructure, record education funding that I've helped deliver on, but also the fact that we built more than 50,000 new housing units in the last 2 years because of the hundreds of millions of dollars that I pushed into our state's housing trust fund, because I hear about housing shortages in every community in Michigan. And again, creating jobs in the technology sector through things like the Innovate Capital Fund for small businesses that couldn't get access to that financing. So I'm proud of that foundation. But Rev, the times are changing. You know, before when I took office, TikTok was a music gap and people didn't know what large language models and AI were. And in these new times, we need new leadership with new sensibilities. And you need an engineer, a software engineer, and a problem solver, the likes of which we've never had in a governor's role in the history of the United States. But that's what we need in these unprecedented times. That's the kind of leadership I'm going to deliver.
All right. Is Governor Whitmer going to run for president? No, don't answer that. I'll wait and have her on to answer it for herself. Michigan Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist, thank you for joining us.